You're listening to SoFloRadio.com. Z Nation.
Z Nation.
Where consciousness is queen, love really is the answer. And making a difference is on the menu. Z Nation. Organic beats and inspiring treats. Get your weekly dose of vitamin Z now.
This is Z Nation on SoFloRadio.com.
Welcome. Welcome to Z Nation. This is Zaina Degaya, and we are broadcasting live from Hollywood, Florida, right here on SoFloRadio.com. It's about love. It's about consciousness. It's about making a difference. Today we have a really, really special guest. I know I say this often, but I really do. I feel like our guests are all really, really special. They're people who are bright lights in the world, really being that change that we want to see in the world. Welcome, Elevate.
Hello.
My dear sister, friend, teacher. Thank you for being on the show.
So honored to be here.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're so excited, Sunset and I, to have you on the show.
Seriously.
So we're going to get into more about Elevate and what she does a little bit further down on the show. So stay tuned in. And just so you're aware, we archive all of the shows every week on several platforms. So on Facebook, on our Facebook group, we will post previews so you can watch about 2 minutes of the show, little clips and get a little summary. And then if you want to watch the entire show, it's archived on our YouTube station /ZNationRadio. And we also have a podcast on iTunes, so you can download the podcast onto your phone or whatever you use and listen to the podcast on your way to work or however you listen to podcasts. So make sure you tune in and you sign up to receive updates from Z Nation Radio so you know who's on the show and when the archives go up. So I had an interesting weekend. So
did I.
Yeah, Sunset, you were in New York.
Yes, I was in New York. I got a tattoo. I lived life like show me value of time.
Yeah.
You know, because that New York minute, but I feel so refreshed and I'm ready to like focus on me.
Did you dress up for Halloween?
Oh, hell yeah. I was Slash from Guns N' Roses.
You were?
Everybody was Slash from Guns N' Roses this year. I was like, damn. But I loved it. It was me and I had so many stories.
Oh, that's great. I know it's great to have you back, Sunset. She is on fire. New York does that. It gives you that push of like, I could do it. New York.
Totally vibrant buzz.
Yeah, the buzz. I feel the buzz. Well, I dressed up as a Hare Krishna devotee.
Ooh.
I'm just kidding. I was just dressed up like I usually do.
And that is?
I was wearing a white skirt and a shawl for our teacher training. It was dress in white day because we take the teacher training just kicked off this weekend, and on the first day on Saturday we meditate for 5 hours together, and we ask everybody to dress in white. Yeah, 5 hours.
Powerful.
So what we do is we kind of, we introduce people to Vipassana. Mm-hmm. So we do a little kind of Vipassana experience where there's no talking, there's no eye contact, and we just meditate together for 5 hours, take little breaks, and yeah.
Do it.
I highly recommend it for anyone, to take like an afternoon and take a silence vow and, not speak, not communicate for 5 hours. Or whatever, and allow yourself that fast, that cleanse. And, we were talking about this, like not talking is challenging, noble silence, but then also taking on noble speech. And noble speech is even more challenging. It takes more awareness to observe what comes out of your mouth, every word that comes out of your mouth. Is it truth? Is it half truth? Is it not truth? It's like the more I talk, the more there is chance of, not speaking truth. So that kind of awareness of well, what if everything I said was a creation? Oh, that's actually how it works. Everything I say is a creation. So what if everything I said actually came true? Would I say things like FML or I am sick, or even saying it right now, there's such a vibration to that.
Cleansing.
I am light, I am healed, I am love, I am. So so noble speech, noble silence. That's what we did this weekend. And I wasn't really brought up, valuing Halloween. So though I like to dress up, I don't know, I like to dress up every day. I like to
Every day is like Halloween.
Yeah, I think like for me, like how I dress it's an art form. So every day is a different costume, and I love to express myself through clothes and my outfits. But it's like so every day is an opportunity to dress up as something.
It's like, it reminds me of this quote, and I don't think I'll get it right, but it was something like, women are best at pretending to be somebody they already are. Like, we're already
Right?
performers of ourselves.
Yes. There's so much freedom in that, there was a time where I resisted that side of me, like it was too flashy, and I wanted to be more humble, but I realized, wait a minute, this is me. And I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm doing it for myself. It's a self-expression. So yeah, when somebody asked me if I dressed up for Halloween, I said, well, I dress up every day. I find the costume every day, and that's how I express myself. So a couple of other things this weekend that were interesting. I had a few incidences actually in the last week of, somebody broke into my car, my friend's car, and took my purse. And then I had my personal bank account was compromised. It was an identity theft situation. And my business account was also compromised. Somebody did fraud. They wrote a check for themselves, and they took a bunch of money out of the account that was not theirs. And it's just been interesting observing, just humanity. Like, it had me think, like, first of all, the desperation, the suffering that people are in that would have them, take from others, the context in which we exist in that would have us take from others, the context of lack. And, when the car window got broken into, the police came, and the police officer was just so kind, he helped us clean the glass off the seats, and he was very just very excited and motivated to find this thief, and I appreciated that. And then I paused with him and I said, well, maybe we can also take a moment to pray for this person, whatever they're dealing with. And he looked at me like I had 3 heads.
He's like, what?
He's like, what? And it's, it's that culture that we live in of like the fast fix. So, if there's a symptom of humanity, the symptom being people who are stealing from others. This is something that we need to fix. So we cut these people off from society. We throw them in jail. We punish them. And, in the Eastern philosophy of, let's say, Eastern medicine, what we look at is we look at the root of things. We may get rid of the symptoms so we feel better about it. However, we also look at the root of things, and that may take a little bit more time. It takes more looking into in depth of understanding, well, how did this come to be how it is? And it's the same thing with people. Mm-hmm. What would it look like if our detention centers and our prisons actually took people in and we cared about them? And we showed love and we showed understanding. Now, this is radical, I know, like, out there in the world to be like, let's show somebody who just hurt another human being.
Passion.
Yeah.
This reminds me of the Vipassana documentary I once saw, just to chime into what you do at your yoga studio. And they did that in a prison. They introduced Vipassana meditation, and within half a year, like, the crime rate tumbled, like it went way low, just through introducing a meditation practice. It's so amazing.
It's so powerful. I saw that documentary, and it impacted the prisoners as well as the guards, because the guards, the workers there also get very resentful and violent because, they're dealing with people who are angry, and it becomes a very vicious cycle. And it really had me also aware of all the suffering, like just having all these incidents happen. And, it's easy to fall like I'm a victim to this, but I'm not a victim to this. I can be responsible that, there are times where I live in a bubble, and I'm not aware of, I shouldn't leave my purse in the car. And it's not about, focusing on the negative, but it's really about being conscious about the whole picture, the dark and the light, and not living in that bubble of, I could just leave my purse in my car, nothing's going to happen. No, we're in South Florida, and it's a wild ride, and I live in East Hollywood, and I discover every day it's pretty wild out here. And there's a lot of people who are suffering. There's a lot of people who are in that desperation mode, beyond survival mode, like total desperation, that they would at 7 o'clock in the morning break into somebody's car and take a purse that didn't have anything in it. So they got like $6 for their efforts. And it also, those situations, like, I was at the bank for 3 hours, and it was inconvenient, and it felt like very, invasive. And at the same time, it's like they're modern life, actual privileged people problems. They get me present to how blessed I am that I can go to the bank. They'll give me the money back. I just have to wait a little bit. But, you get that money back if it's taken from your account fraudulently. And then I get in my car and get back on my iPhone, and life is back to normal, and we are living really privileged lives. So, and so just taking a look at like where we can make that difference. I was reading this morning a post from my friend Susie Foltz, and I'll read it to you all, but it just really got me present to, it's like everything we do makes a difference. And, I heard this story once, and I don't know if I'll get it right quite, but it was like somebody was there was a bunch of fish that had come off on the shore, and they were all, there was like thousands of them, and they were all dying because, the water had gone down. And so there was just like thousands of them, and somebody was taking them one at a time and throwing them as quickly as they can. There's only so many they can save. And somebody said to them, you're not going to save them all. Like, you're not making the difference. And, the person said, well, I made a difference for this one, as he threw one. And it so is. True. And it does feel overwhelming. If we look at the big picture of the planet right now, it's overwhelming for the human mind. But our soul came here for something bigger, and we know there's something bigger at stake. And we know that every person that we help to awaken, every person that we provide light and hope to, can create a ripple effect, and will create a ripple effect in the world. So this is a post by Susie Foltz. She's a good friend. She's been on Z Nation, and she's also a beautiful, beautiful human being. She posted this on October 30th. I saw a homeless woman sitting on the ground in front of Publix as I walked in. She said, "You're the only person that smiled at me today. Do you think you could grab me some bread and butter, please? I haven't eaten all day." I said sure, and I gave her another smile. I thought while picking up some Ezekiel bread and vegan butter, what if she would accept the dinner invitation? Guess what? She did. And I took her to a nearby diner somewhere in Boynton Beach. Her story drove me to tears. A lifetime of addiction, she's been clean for 4 months, praying to get off the streets. Worked in the retail industry where she used to own her own business. She speaks 3 languages fluently. She said, "No one ever has given me the opportunity to prove that I'm worthy. Everyone looks at me with contempt. I got spit in the face at a gas station once. I want to work and be happy like everyone else." I knew God had a plan for this woman's life, and this by no means was a coincidence. So I called a wealthy friend that has 4 successful businesses, and he came over and he joined us for dinner. It didn't take him long to see through this beautiful woman being across the table. And he gave me $300, and he said, take her to a hotel so she can get a good night's sleep and a shower. Go buy some clothes in the morning and bring her to my office. She starts tomorrow. Thank you, God, for the amazing, loving human beings you've created on this earth to be a beacon of light. Susie Foltz. Thank you so much for being that beacon of light, sister.
Thank you, Susie.
Isn't that amazing?
Amazing.
But you know, it is that, like, how many times do I cross homeless people on the streets? It's become, for me, it's you know, I had this situation a couple of weeks ago where I was driving and I saw this dog on the street that was so wretched looking. And I got out of the car and I didn't know what to do with him. He was very old. He couldn't see and he was like just walking around like a drunken dog. And it broke my heart, and it like just stays with me all day that I didn't do anything about it, you know? And then I got present to how many times I do that with human beings all day long. I run across human beings that are wretched and hopeless and blind and, you know, walking around aimlessly. And I am present to how disconnected I've become because it's an everyday thing. And there is a part of me that says, well, I can't help everybody. Can't help everybody. But that doesn't matter, and it's not an excuse not to help one person. And even a smile, like Susie's smile, was priceless to that woman. If she would have just had the smile and walked away, that would have been great too. Who knows what that smile would have done?
Of course, absolutely.
So
Powerful story.
That's the path of karma, selfless service. You know, in yoga, there are several paths, and practicing on your yoga mat, doing asanas is one path. And that's the path, you know, where you are working on yourself to cleanse, to purify yourself so that you can be a brighter beacon of light in the world. And the karma path is the path of action, where we are, who we are is our devotion is to the world. Our devotion is to God, and God is other people, and God is us, and we are, you know, the reflection of each other. So every time I step out of myself and in service without expecting anything in return, then I am in that unity with God. And it is said that, you know, the karma path is like, it is the most difficult one because it's living your life every moment in that selfless action towards others and getting yourself out of the way. So look for yourself today, you know, how can I better serve? And that's a question I ask in the morning in my prayers, you know, who can I serve today? Show me who I can serve. And even if it's like at the beginning, you're doing it because it's a tool, you know, karma is a tool to get yourself out of the way so you can serve in a bigger way. It's easy to get caught up in the little problems in life. But when we tackle on bigger problems, you know, like homelessness or suffering in the world, all of a sudden our little problems become that. They become little problems that, you know, that can just be managed, but they don't have to take up our whole day and all of our thoughts because we're so much bigger than that. We came here for something so much bigger. We came here as light workers to leave this planet in better shape than how we found it. And
Amen.
Yeah, and each of us is not going to do this alone. We're going to do this together. We're a team, and we're awakening more team members as we go. And it's a natural, organic process of being who you are, trusting in your truth and sharing that, like just sharing and sharing and sharing.
I'd like to add that what I also love so much about the idea of service is that it's so self-serving. Like in the most unexpected ways, I get such blessings out of helping somebody, and that are new. Like they open horizons to me, and I expand in who I am.
Yes.
It's amazing.
I'm so happy you brought that up, because I look at it this way, you know, service is two-sided coin. You know, one side is selfish and the other side is selfless. There is like this amazing satisfaction and fulfillment that I get from serving. And the more I serve, the more I want to do it. And at the beginning, you may do it because it's self-serving, and you go to sleep at night feeling used by the universe. You go to sleep at night feeling complete and feeling like you matter and you did something that matters. And that's the best feeling in the world. And after you keep doing that and keep doing that, you know, it really becomes selfless. And it's okay to do it for selfish reasons.
And it's also like, it's moving from scarcity consciousness, like there's not enough time, I don't have enough to give, to abundance, where I'm like, I'm going to step out of this limited time zone into creating my own life and my own freedom. And yes, I do have time to connect with the eyes of the other and just show my heart. You know, I don't have to like give them $10 if I don't have it, but I can just like shower them with my presence and my unconditional love for a few seconds. And like you said, make a huge difference in their life.
Yes. Every person that, you know, every single person, every fish we throw back into the water is one more person on the planet that is getting closer to that space where we can all make a difference. When we're in survival mode and we're suffering, we're useless. We're useless to ourselves and we're useless to others. So, who can we serve today? Even just asking that question today, you know, things will appear for us. So, I think I want to get right into Elevate. So we're gonna take a short pause because I have a lot to talk to her about. So we're gonna take a short pause from our partners and just take a moment to really thank all of you who are supporting Z Nation, all of our guests that we've had up to now that, you know, have really helped us to create this amazing platform, and for our partners. So we have a new sponsor. I Love Yoga Studio has come on as our sponsor, and they will be playing Z Nation every Thursday from 12 to 1 live.
Yeah, so check it out.
Isn't that fun?
Check it out. Go have a smoothie and watch the show.
Yes, happy hour on Thursdays. So thank you so much for watching from I Love Yoga Now. Yay, we love yoga too. Yay. So we'll be back right after these messages from our amazing sponsors right here on SoFloRadio.com.
Tune in to get
Tuned in.
This is Z Nation on SoFloRadio.com.
Add a twist of yoga.
Yoga Twist with Julie.
A great way to integrate yoga, meditation, and lots of fun.
Promote family bonding. Help with flexibility and exercise.
Julie has been teaching kids for over 8 years in after-school programs, summer camps, and local studios.
Book a group, family, or one-on-one session now. Email me, yogatwistjulie@gmail.com.
Follow Yoga Twist Julie on Instagram and like Yoga Twist on Facebook for great family lifestyle tips and Yoga Twist events.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Clark, and I'm a yoga teacher and student at I Love Yoga Studio. It's been my privilege to practice, learn, and expand in this place of ever-evolving love and spiritual growth. When you visit, you'll most likely be greeted with a welcome home, and that's exactly how you will feel, at home and free to be. The studio offers yoga classes that meet you at your level of practice with affordable prices. So check out our schedule at www.iloveyogastudio.com. See you on the mat. Namaste.
Join the Z Nation team as a marketing partner. We are always looking for conscious, sustainable businesses to support and share with our growing community. If your business is one that serves humanity and you want the world to know, we want to help you grow. Sponsorship opportunities are available for all budgets and flavors. For more info, call us at 954-604-1290 or visit ZNationRadio.com.
Now, back to Z Nation, your weekly dose of inspiration
On SoFloRadio.com.
Yeah. Live life, give life. One love is our insight. And everything is alright.
Deva Presence and Paloma Devi. Live simply.
Escape through a passage provided by your soul. Sometimes we unfold, forgoing in control. Speak soft, ease off, get lost in the hole. Keep digging, endless messages untold. The rhythm, relentless, walketh in the mist. Forgive them, extensive talkativeness. Make haste, breathe emptiness and reminisce. Escape, relieve skepticism, step to this. Retrieve, ridicules that seep into your pores. Perceive, interludes that keep you doing more. And breathe the heaviness of life through the doors. Believe, heavenless, escape your remorse. Come on now, tell me you was taken by force. If free will was willing, you would find your own course. But cause and effect got you tossed in all sorts of ways. You would say it's the simplicity of life.
Live simply so others can simply live. Give simply so others can simply live.
Simplicity of life.
It's in me to keep this world all inclusive within me. All is simply free.
Words never sounded so lush. A lovely lullaby, liberative and such. In harmonium, feel the warm rush of blood circulating in your cheeks when you blush.
Well, we can always come back to Deva Presence when we're looking for conscious music.
Yeah.
Deva.
So check out ZNationRadio. .com. We're going to be posting a playlist of all the conscious songs that we've been playing for the last 34 shows. And please, if you know of any conscious artists, conscious songs that we should know about, we would love to hear about them so we can share them with the world. Music is divine and sacred, and an access for us to go there, you know, to surrender and to be in devotion. And so music that gives that message of consciousness, unity, higher living, we want to know about. We want to know about it. So reach out to us at ZNationRadio.com. So our guest today is Ella Veit. Ella is a health and tantra coach, a Reiki master, really an entrepreneur, a mother, beautiful, beautiful soul. On Facebook, she has the page Dakini Ascension. That's DAKINI Ascension. You can learn more about what she does on there. So, hi, Ella.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
Yay. Thanks for coming on. I wrote you a little song.
Oh.
I'm going to sing it to you.
Wow.
Okay. It's short, but it's a start. Here we go. She's a goddess, she's a G. She's a bright light like you and me. Her name is Ella, Elevate. She gets your chi moving, that's a date. She'll remind you you're really great. There's nothing around it, she's Elevate. Elevate, she's Elevate. Elevate, she's really great. Elevate, elevate. That's what I was doing in my office. I go like this. Let me go into my office and so that'll be on the feature CD of the Z Nation songs.
Oh my god, yeah.
Some people see my name, they're like, what is that? Ella Vate? Like they think it's like something Indian, Sanskrit or something.
Did you make that up?
Yeah.
I love it.
It's my burner name.
But your name is Ella.
Yes.
You added Vate. Cool. So Ella, you are a Tantra coach.
Yes.
For those who don't know what that is, can you please enlighten us?
Oh, it's such a great big word. So Tantra is this ancient practice, and it really is a science of consciousness, and it's thousands of years old. And there's some temples from that period that are still standing. You can find them in northern Africa, and you would go there and your soul would be worshipped and returned to its wholeness. So Tantra has the understanding that everything is sacred, that life is sacred. And we tend to forget that through the sufferings and challenges of life. And so in Tantra, we come together and we celebrate life and all its aspects. So in modern day, it kind of has a rep to be like a sexual enhancement. And I'm really like adamant to bring the integrity back to that word, because it's such a beautiful, powerful science of consciousness. It's in alignment with yoga. It's in alignment with Buddhism. It's in alignment with the chakra systems. It's a path of ascension. Hence, I use the word Dakini ascension.
Yes.
Or elevate, because life. So we're in this physical body, and we can elevate. So that's a choice.
So you work with people and to understand these concepts better experientially.
Yes, absolutely.
It makes me think of, like, you know, how people see yoga in the West as the postures, and it's like so much more. It's just like just a little fragment of it. And Tantra is similar, where people think Tantra and they think sexuality, but it's just one element in this pool of wisdom and knowledge that's being passed down to us. So I'm curious to know, like, where did you come from? How did you get to this place that you are now a Tantra coach and somebody who's masterful in this? Have you always been interested in this world?
No, it took a few years of maturing into depth, if I want to call it that. I've always been on a spiritual quest, always. I remember I used to do yoga in middle school because I had the coolest teacher.
Oh, wow.
And yes, and always on a spiritual quest, all sorts of paths. Vipassana is familiar to me, and I found Buddhism, and that was really powerful 12 years ago, because it was like all the explorations. I lived in New York City and Berlin and London. I just tried all sorts of stuff out. And then when I found Buddhism, it kind of brought it all together. It was so clear, of such reason, and had no like religious overtone. It was just like common sense. It resonated deeply in me. But I didn't know how to apply it into my body. And then I found out about Tantra, and then there was this practice in which to integrate the wisdom of Buddhism. It just made complete sense. And also want to bring up yoga, because you're a yoga teacher, a yogini, goddess. And so yoga is that oneness within oneself and spirit. And Tantra is that oneness that we find with each other, that we create, where our spirits come together and unite and activate something greater. And of course, for that, we have to find that oneness within ourselves, and so that we can experience oneness with the other. It doesn't happen the other way, because we'll come from neediness.
Yes.
So it's totally in alignment. It goes together. It's a complementary practice.
Yes. Well, it's like it's the yoga practice experienced with others.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yes. Beautiful.
Wow. So what was your, how did you get into Tantra? From Buddhism did you take a workshop? Did you meet a teacher?
So I had a personal trauma that was pretty major, like the biggest trauma in my life. And I don't want to go into that. I'm going to start crying. And it's a whole story in itself that I want to give space to that when it's the appropriate time.
It's good to know, that it's a challenge,
right,
that propelled you into this gift.
Yeah, so I was totally traumatized. My body locked down. The stress just locked my body up. My back was all locked. And somebody told me randomly, go to this person. He's very spiritual. I didn't know what to expect. I went there, and I got a tantric bodywork experience, and it just released my emotions on such a deep level, like that had never been touched before. And my whole back got better and better. And this person totally believed in this. The challenge I had was impossible appearing, like that I could overcome it. And this person, without knowing me, just had faith in me and said, of course you'll overcome it. And I did. But the powerful thing was that I experienced that there's, that we're all have therapy and psychology integrated in our society, but and then we can go to all sorts of massage therapies, but something that integrates the entire body, with everything, with its sexuality, with its traumas, with sensual, soft touch. That's really a different kind of, rather than therapeutic, it's just connection, where I'm transferring my energy into your energy. I'm receiving your energy. I'm channeling divine energy. I mean, of course, there's other modalities that work with it, like Reiki or, so many that I can't even mention. But the one that includes also our sexual aspect is Tantra. And that's why it has that rep to be sexual only, because we cut it out.
And sexuality is so sacred and such an access, for us to access that divine. And we haven't been taught that.
Yeah, we live in a confusing world too, where it's like we're taught that this is how we're supposed to be. And then when we do that, then we're condemned. And so, there's a lot of like sexual trauma out there right now.
Sex ed for most is porn.
Or
that's
STDs.
scary.
So it's fear, or it's just full-on sex without soul. But sexuality is sacred because it creates life. And what's more sacred than life? Somebody have something?
Right.
So it's beautiful. It's like, let's take that taboo out of it. That's my mission, is like, let's start feeling comfortable with ourselves. Let's own our sacredness and take that shadow aspect out of it and bless ourselves.
Yeah.
With our completion, so we don't reject and repress certain aspects. And we know all what happens when we repress things. They come out distorted. And that's why we have stuff like porn and, pedophiles and all that terrible stuff going on.
The pervations, it's been so much of it because, like you said, all the make wrong around sexuality, like it's something like a sin, and whatever that means. But so you talked about the massage, right? The tantric massage. So what does that entail, and why would somebody go and get a tantric massage?
Wow, that's a big one. Why would somebody? Well, you could take like, I personally think that everybody would be served well to do it.
Yes.
But I wouldn't just do a tantric massage. Like for me, as I said, it's much more than just body work. It's breath work. It's teaching how to breathe. It's mindfulness. It's teaching how to meditate and be observant of my thoughts and what I say. It's understanding the energy systems in the body, and it's understanding energy flow, that it's not just around us and our intake and what we give out externally around us, but that we have this limitlessness above and below that we can tap into. And so, but yeah, the body, to come back to your question, it's so important because we all have so many blockages in our bodies. We have traumas, and we have taboos that have blocked us. And we also live in a very imbalanced world where we sit a lot, and we only are connected and intimate in certain ways. And this is really where what I want to get at with Tantra. So when we connect, we usually connect on an intimate level sexually with our genitals. And otherwise we feel kind of uncomfortable. Like the average person doesn't feel comfortable looking deep into somebody's eyes, has a shallow breath, is not really grounded in the moment, isn't really relaxed in the present moment, and feels like kind of a fear with the other, almost like there's like an enemy, something to be afraid of, and at the next attack, rather than you're my friend. Yeah. And thank you, I love you, like for being here in my experience right now. And so I'm teaching them, people when they come to me, to connect differently. I like to look into each other's eyes and really be there without talking. Like what you're saying, like connect without the words. We use these words, they're like this white noise, this buffer. We don't even think about what we're saying most of the time.
Yes.
Just to connect like without words. To hold ourselves in an embrace so long that we can start feeling our heartbeat, that we can feel our breath, that we can hold our hands and feel our pulse, that we can really connect and be there and release our fears. Right. Because once we connect, the fears, they go.
Yes. You know that I don't remember where I heard this, but like the deepest work that we can do with our men is what you just said, is teaching them presence. So you work with men and you teach them that kind of intimacy, and with women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with both, with men, women, couples.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
So can you share a little bit about what your work is when you work with, let's say, with a couple?
Mm-hmm. So they come to me. I have a sacred space that I set up energetically. That means it's a safe place. It's discreet for you to be who you are. There's no judgment.
Yes.
It's a loving place, and love meaning really just channeling unconditional, expansive, universal thrive energy. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I just love you. I have no agenda. And then I feel like I just kind of sit there and I just feel them, their energy, their breath, and you can already see a lot, like the dynamic between them, like who instigated this tantra session. And then I just start talking about tantra, what it is. And I lead them into a meditation just to arrive and relax, and also connect with the energies outside of us, how they're all around us, love all around us, light all around us, juiciness all around us. And then we do like connecting stuff, and like often couples are really deprived of that. Mm-hmm. Like they get so into a rut, they don't take their time. Like, it's so funny to me, like we take care of our cars, our teeth, our looks, but like, how do we take care of our relationship? And I tell every couple, every week, I don't give a damn, every week you get together and have a tantric date, and it's not about your job, it's not about your responsibilities, it's not about what you didn't do for me, or yes, I teach them also those aspects to hold space so that can be released, but that has to happen in presence. And so in this safe space, this presence is possible, because it's like we're so scared of the attack of the other and to be present, because we're just afraid of the emotions that will trigger in us that aren't going to feel good, and we just don't want to feel bad.
Yes.
So
it's like holding a big enough container within ourselves, to accept and love ourselves, so we can have that container for others. Yeah. Wow, I'm really moved by the work that you do, Ella.
It's awesome.
It's
I'm
like,
so honored to do this. Like, I really, it's first of all, it's such an honor to be in the presence of a sacred bond. And it's such an honor to remind them of the amazingness of each other's spirit and that brought them together in the first place.
Yes.
And it's so easy too, because it's just like we don't feel appreciated, we don't feel heard, we just feel judged. We feel like we're not the priority because life is, and so here we arrive in this place where we celebrate each other, where we reconnect, where we're reminded, we fall in love with each other and ourselves again.
Yes.
So it's just like the coolest.
No, that's awesome.
Like, what's a tantric date look like? Give us like, what's it look like?
I mean, like, the sky's your limit as far as, your creative process, what you want to do. And so I'm just going to give you like a super, like, stereotypical idea. But like,
but the context, like you said.
Right. Okay. So you want to have a space where nobody else is going to be intruding. You want to have it set up all beautifully, like maybe soft music, candlelight, rose petals, nice scents. Tantra is a lot about the stimulation of the senses, because we're celebrating life and the beauty of life, and it feels so good to be. Our sensory system has this ability to feel good.
Yes.
So we want to feel good. We want to create beauty. We want to celebrate each other's spirit. So we'll do things in this tantric date that the other spirit will radiate in. So let's say for the woman, like, what can the guy do Or could be a woman. Like I'm not. Like I don't
No,
care.
I feel
It's
you.
Totally. Male energy. What the male energy will do.
Or let's make it even easier. The worshipper.
Yeah.
The worshipper. So the action, which is, you're right, the male, masculine, the action energy, the yang. And so the giver worships the receiver, and the receiver fully receives. And that's a big issue. We have a hard time receiving in our world. We're so like scared of receiving. And so a lot of it is like people feel so much more comfortable in giving. And we women are,
especially women,
and we the feminine is as a receptive. It's like we receive the masculine in us. We receive the seed and we grow that in us and give birth to the baby. Like we are the receptors. We contain.
Yes.
And so it's so important for us to have this tantric date where we can step into the fully receiving, where we don't have to give anything. And guess what happens? And this is a big revelation for a lot of guys, or for a lot of givers, is that, wow, the feminine radiates and shines and becomes amazing. Her creative juices become alive and thrive and expand, and it's just such a blessing to experience for the giver. So there we are again with this whole, what you were talking about earlier, when we give, when we're of service, selfless. So I teach people not only to receive but also to be selfless givers, because often when we interact intimately, we have an agenda. I want to get it off, I want to feel good. But like what we're learning is like, you know what, if I let myself go and I'm just really going to make this person feel good, guess what happens? They're going to feel fabulous, and that's going to make us feel great.
Yes.
And then, it will come back to us, because what we give out comes back to us multiplied. So
I've heard of like the puja ceremonies. So how does that work? Like, do you take turns? Like you do a puja ceremony for the goddess and you do a puja ceremony for the god?
It could be, whatever you want. Like it could be just a puja to celebrate the goddess. It could be for both, where you take turns or you do it at the same time.
And the idea is just to like allow the giver to give and allow the receiver to receive. That's a beautiful thing. It creates a lot of space in the minds, not thinking about, what I'm going to do next or what I should do, what I have to do. And
you're just being.
Yeah, allows for that surrender.
I want to bring up a real important aspect of Tantra, and that is communication and boundaries and self-love. This is 3 aspects, actually. But communication is so important. Like, we hold back so much with our authentic perception of things. And I'm not saying that what I'm communicating to you is the truth, because that's not always so clear what the truth is. But it's my truth where I'm at the situation. And as soon as I choose to not communicate it, I hold it in my body. And it festers in my body. And then at one point, it can be contained in my body anymore. And it will come out distorted. And that's like when we have all these like, whoa, that person like weirded me out kind of scenarios. Like that was like such an out of proportion reaction because it's an accumulated. And so I teach them to communicate with each other. And that's really hard for us because we feel so vulnerable with sharing from our heart.
And it's so important. The more we withhold, the more space gets created between people, and then people wonder, where did the love go? And people, we do need to learn how to communicate. We didn't learn that in school, like how to be authentic and how to speak our truth in the moment so that we can keep love present. Okay, so there was communication and then the boundaries. And the boundaries part that's communication, is like if we don't communicate what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts with self-love, okay? Like, bottom line, my consciousness in me, in my body, in my perception, my responsibility, right? Because I know what I feel and da-da-da, and you don't. So when we start in this tantric realm, we have to start with a vow that we love ourselves. This is my business. I love myself, period. And then I have to find my boundaries, because we tend to think we know what our boundaries are, and we tend to be kind of absolute about it. But the truth is, every moment is new and they're always moving. yet there are boundaries that we need because they make us feel safe. Like I need to feel confidential in this setting, that you're not going to go to your girlfriend and talk about what happened here. So that would be a clear boundary that makes me feel loved because it's making me feel safe. And so the safety issue is really important in Tantra because it's all about energy flow. And it's like the boundary is like the edge of a river. Like the firmer the boundary, the more powerful the energy or the water in the river can flow through.
Wow.
So, and then they have this study like about like kids playing in a playground. If there's no fence around the playground, they kind of just like are all hurdled in one area. And when there's a fence around it, they just go crazy all over.
Yes.
And that's also how you can translate it to energy flow. So there's like usually with couples the first problem because usually the boundaries are not respected with each other, you know. And the tendency with the masculine and the feminine is that women have more boundaries around their sexuality and men have them more about their emotions. It's just how we're made up. So
and then you teach them to communicate about those aspects, so it
and
creates...
to also listen.
Yes.
Like because we think we're the same. Like, why are you being that way? Don't you get it? Like, it's like we're almost taking it as an offense that somebody isn't honoring the way that they should be treating us in our opinion. However, they're just, from their vantage point,
they're only doing what they know. You know, if they don't, you are not the same as probably the people they've dated before or interacted with before. So that's why I feel like as a woman, it's very important to be like, okay, like this is how I work or this is who I am, you know, because it's very important. Because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm in these bad relationships or I've had bad sex or whatever. And I'm like, well, did you communicate what you want? Did you even know what you like? And they're like, and then I'm like, okay, well then that's where you need to like have that self-love and develop those boundaries and
communicate them.
Don't even say sorry because like
that's
in my sacred space there is no room for sorry because it's like on a collective level we women have a really hard time communicating it because we're so intricate and complex on an emotional level. Like we have our nervous system is like, I read this book about I don't want to go into all the details scientifically. You can contact me if you want later. But we have like, even like in our clitoris, we have 7,000 plus nerve endings. And in the head, there's like 3,000 plus. So that just shows you right there, like our nervous system is so much more refined. So guys, listen up because we can teach you something that will expand you, you know. And girls, speak up so that you can teach and broaden their horizons and like lift their consciousness up that way, you know. So, but it's so easy to say, speak up, you know, that requires a breakthrough.
Yes.
And that requires a safe place or like a trauma to happen and the spirit to want to win over that trauma to have a breakthrough. It's not easy. And so I feel really strong that I as a calling that I want to assist my sisters and in the process also become more and more liberated in speaking up from the heart, you know. That's really the most important thing, is to stay in the heart. I have a tendency to go totally too mental when I feel threatened.
Yes.
And I'm really practicing staying in the heart. Or finding back to it as much as possible.
I'm just present to how important your work is, Ella. You know, there's a lot of people who this is really like foreign to, you know, but our listeners, you know, we have a mix of like everything. And even like in the conscious community, this is not something, I think we're very immature in the conscious community still around the topic of sex and Tantra. And, you know, even people who are...
And intimacy, I would like to add, because it really, sex is like, I mean, Tantra is like up there and sex is rudimentary, and our consciousness brings it up. But as long as we repress our sexuality and judge it, you know, like we can't bring it up. We have to liberate it for it to move, and we liberate it in a safe, sacred, unconditionally loving environment where we hold space for all our traumas, all our blockages, all our vulnerabilities, all our mistakes. We're all full of mistakes, doing them all the time. And so, just like no judgment.
Yes.
I think that's a good place to start. Do you have any practical tips for people, like where to start with Tantra if somebody who wants to explore more, experience more, and begin their journey down the rabbit hole?
There's so much out there. It's like one of those words that means so much.
Maybe like on a personal level, if somebody wanted to like, maybe they're going through something and they're not ready to kind of like talk to like their spouse or whatever about it. If they just wanted to do something for themselves, like what would be like a little
Oh, you want to get like that, like specifically practical?
Sure,
okay.
practical.
I was like, oh, does she want a new book recommendation?
Oh, that could be that. That could be that.
too.
That could be the first step for somebody. Like, you know what? This sounds interesting. Let me do my own. That could be like that too.
You know what? Like, I'm not going to bring any book recommendations out because I have my personal opinion about like that you have to find what resonates with you, and that really is my motto. Like, go online, Google Tantra, and read through stuff and really pay attention to how it feels, because there's a lot of stuff out there that's not integrity. There's a lot of people that use Tantra as a platform to be extremely sexual. And I'm not judging it. That's just where it's at for them and their evolution, and that's fine. But, it's really a pure path. So find something that feels like it's bringing you into the light. And what would be my tip, like on a personal level, if somebody feels inspired to check it out? In South Florida, it's like really one of those spiritual paths that needs expansion in South Florida. I mean, I know Nayano Birding does Tantra Pujas up in Fort Lauderdale and Sunrise every Friday evening.
Yes.
And that's really beautiful. It's a specific tantric lineage. I don't follow a specific tantric lineage because that's just not where I'm at. I've studied with several different tantric masters. One of my teachers is Charles Muir, and he does workshops and he travels all around, and he comes to Florida sometimes and does workshops. SourceTantra.com is his school. His assistant, Leah Alkeen, is an amazing, brilliant woman.
And where are they based out of?
Santa Cruz, California.
Okay, cool.
Because a lot of Tantra, it came through California. So that's really the portal in the U.S. Yes, it's the hub. And then New York. And then you find some in Chicago. But, but there's a lot of wonderful Tantra teachers. I mean, I just organized a puja with Kai Karl, also from California, and he studied in India, and he lived in a Hindu temple for 3 years. And at the end of his 3-year apprenticeship, it was the first time that he touched, like after 3 years, it was the first time that he gave a goddess physical worship of the whole body. So he was prepared for 3 years on all sorts of levels of goddess worship until he was allowed to touch the body. And it's like, it's very, I just want to put like out there, I feel strong about this, that a lot of, oh God. Okay, so no, I want to like wrap this up in a really good way. I was getting deep, but
this is deep. That's what happens. We get like so like it's momentum builds, and then I'm like, oh, it's over.
It's over. It's the end of the new beginning, and I hope I'll have another opportunity sometime to share. And you can find me on Facebook, and I'll answer all your questions. I'm so excited to spread this amazing transformative path around and make it as popular as yoga. Like, I want to integrate it. I want to free sexuality from its condemnation.
Preach.
And I want to like empower us women and men to be harmonious and beautiful and one together and create this divine sacred tapestry of life together.
Oh, you're doing it, girl. You're doing it. Thank you so much, Ella. Thank you for being, you're like your courage, your big ovaries, you're a big person, and you are being like who you are in the world is teaching people, so thank you for being like walking the walk, talking the talk, and thank you for being on the show today. Yeah.
You're so welcome.
I'm
so
excited
happy
for
to be here.
people to, learn about you and to learn from you. And, what you're offering to the world is what's needed right now. So thank you so much. We honor you.
I love you.
Love you too.
I love yoga. I love you.
I love you too.
I love sunsets.
I love you too. Like,
We will have we'll have another opportunity to talk more. So wherever you are, we're going to close together with a breath. If you can sit up, feel the energy moving through your spine and feel the breath as it nourishes the body, the soul. And we thank you so much for listening together. We are Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May all of my actions, my words, my thoughts contribute to that freedom, that happiness for all beings everywhere. So, peace out. Namaste. Aho. We love you.
Aloha.
We acknowledge your greatness. We acknowledge that you are thebomb.com, and we love you. Mwah. Peace. Peace. Thanks for tuning in.